What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new commentary video. And today we're actually talking about stuff that's going on in the world because I really want to. And we got to talk about this ongoing South Park situation. And so I'm going to catch you all up to speed because this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen as somebody that's kind of been like in this space working for a number of years at this point. So let's talk about that. So if you aren't aware, South Park just started season 27, and first episode was really, really good. I think it's the best episode of the show they made in a really long time. But before we talk about the episode, we got to talk about what's been going on with South Park since like 2022. So basically, South Park is owned by Comedy Central, technically, and Comedy Central is owned by Paramount. And so back in about 2022, at the time, South Park was signing a deal with HBO Max. And the deal basically was for the next 5 years, we are going to pay you $500 million to stream exclusively all new episodes here on HBO Max. Because at the time, Paramount wasn't really a thing. It wasn't quite there. So then a couple years later, Paramount Plus comes out. And Paramount comes to South Park and says, hey, you guys want to make episodes for us? So they sign another $500 million contract, billion, not million, billion. And they basically say, okay, here's what we're going to do. All the new episodes of South Park are going to go on HBO. But what we're going to do is we're going to make specials exclusively for Paramount. So basically, HBO wasn't happy. HBO sues Paramount, and they've been in a legal battle for years at this point. And, you know, so Trey Parker and Matt Stone are obviously kind of frustrated. They're trying to make a lot for a lot of different companies, right? And it's a lot of work. So basically, Paramount just signed a new deal with South Park. Now, the new deal is $1.5 billion for 10 years of South Park. So, you know, needless to say, that's a lot, right? Now, you're probably wondering, why does any of this matter? Well, Paramount's also been in a lawsuit with President Trump. And I want to make this clear before we go any further in this video. This has nothing to do with my political views. It has nothing to do with it. South Park is a show about satire, okay? They make fun of whatever is popular at the time. They've done it since the 90s, and they're going to continue to do it. So people, you know, are rightfully angry at a lot of the things that Trump are doing, me included. I don't like a lot of the things that he's doing. I don't like the stuff that he's doing with immigrants. I don't like what he's doing in general. And so Trump just cut funding to basically NPR, PBS, and he's in this lawsuit with Paramount. And he says, look, you guys were very biased in your 60 Minutes with Kamala Harris. It made me look bad. So then Paramount says, screw it. We're going to give you $15 million and $20 million of TV time, essentially. And with this, Stephen Colbert, who is the most popular late night show, was just canceled. The most popular show on television for late night was just canceled. And so, rightfully so, people aren't very happy, right? So this is like literally a week ago that happens, essentially. And then immediately, Paramount signs this deal for $1.5 billion for South Park. So, what does Trey and Matt Stone do? Well, I'll tell you what they did. They then proceeded to make an episode of South Park that is all about Trump and his tiny penis. Now, I can't show you any of the episode because it's a Paramount show, and I'll lose my channel. But go watch that episode. It is honestly one of the best episodes of South Park we've had in years. I was dying laughing throughout this episode. And like I said, right, this has nothing to do with my political views. South Park has always been a show about satire. They make fun of whatever is popular at the time. And currently, it's kind of cool to be a Republican, right? That's kind of the way that the media is going. We basically, for a long time, we're in this cycle where it was cool to be the woke left, right? And that's what this episode is all about. This whole episode is about Cartman being upset that woke isn't a thing anymore, that it's been canceled. And so basically, basically the Republicans are made to be the cool guys right now. And so Trump's not too happy. Now, here's what the whole episode has, okay? The end of this episode involves Trump getting naked in the desert and his tiny penis speaks for him and says, "I'm Donald Trump and I approve this message." There are multiple scenes where they make jokes about Donald Trump being Saddam Hussein. For a long time, Saddam Hussein has been a part of South Park, except they took that character and put Trump's face on him. And it is truly hilarious. This is one of the funniest things that South Park has ever done. And it's a true representation of why they've been on the top of adult animation for almost 30 years. There's a reason for it. It is because they are cutting edge. Family Guy and Simpsons wish that they could be this cool. Family Guy does not hold any punches. They do not care. They are able to just let it all rip. And it made me laugh so much throughout this episode because they just kept making jokes about Trump being insecure about his tiny penis. Like, they hit on things that Trump hates. They hit on things that, like, truthfully, Trump hates when people talk about it, right? That, you know, about his insecurities. They hit it all. And they do not hold back. If you have not watched the latest seasons of South Park, I don't blame you. I felt like the last couple seasons were kind of weak. This one is really good so far. Just check it out. It'll make you laugh, especially with the context of everything that's been going on with Paramount. There's even a clip. There's even a moment in this episode where Jesus comes down and he's like whispering to the town, like, "Did you see what they did to Colbert? Did you see what they did to PBS?" And it's like play along or else they'll cancel us. So, genuinely, watch this episode. It is one of the funniest commentaries I've seen. And, you know, it kind of leads me into another thing where, for some reason, people on the right now are calling South Park woke when a couple years ago they were praising South Park when they made fun of Kathleen Kennedy, which is a really funny bit. There was basically a episode where the boys were in an alternate reality where all of them became black lesbians. And it's really funny. And, you know, and it's basically Cartman running away from Kathleen Kennedy. And it's really funny. Like, that bit is funny. But now that they're making fun of MAGA, they're not happy. And the point of South Park has never been, oh yeah, let's pick a political side. They've definitely gotten more political, quote unquote political, over the years, but it's not them being like, oh yeah, this is who we're voting for. This is who you should vote for. They're just being honest. And I think that's good, right? Because I think South Park dies the day that basically, like, that they basically just become a voice for Republicans or they become a voice for the left. That's when I think South Park dies. But South Park is so good because throughout almost its 30-year history, they have been able to basically be very unbiased and make fun of both sides. You know, as much as we talk about it, season 20 isn't a great season, but they're able to make fun of both Trump and Hillary in such a great way. They were able to make fun of Trump so effectively because they picked Mr. Garrison to be this universe's Trump. And it just works because it makes sense. It fits Mr. Garrison so well. And you know, obviously Hillary Clinton was just Hillary Clinton, and it worked, and it was funny. It's a good bit throughout that season. Now, there's plenty of things to not like about that season. I don't rewatch it. I don't. Season 20 was kind of like this start of this episodic arc, or serialized instead of episodic. But, you know, I think that South Park is just proving once again why it's the king of adult animation. And it's incredibly funny. If I could show you, I would. But just go watch it because, like, I just think that South Park is such a good representation of what normal people think. I think, you know, like, just for years, they've been able to make fun of both sides of the political aisle. And I think that there's a lot of people right now that don't like it when their side is made fun of, right? And you know, me and Noah aren't like partisan over here. You know, like, we have our opinions and you know, we like who we like, you know, I guess more than the other, but like, we love making fun of both sides. Like, I will make fun of Republicans. I will make fun of the left. It does not matter. I will make fun of whoever I want because there's idiots on both sides. And there's really no good guy, right? And I think South Park is reinforcing that because for a long time they were seen as this beacon of right-wing media. And I really didn't like it when CNN and people like that way on the far left started saying stuff like that, when they didn't realize that they were just making fun of the ridiculousness of Kathleen Kennedy, right? And then the left was like, that's not happening. And they're like, number one, it's satire, right? And number two, it's like, oh, it kind of is, right? and they were just making fun of it. And they're doing the same thing here with Trump. So it's really funny to see this back and forth where it's like where every couple of years South Park flips its audience, right? So now I think we're going to have this another couple of years where the left is going to praise South Park. And then as soon as Trump's out of office and the Republicans don't have anybody and the left wins the next election cycle, it's like, well, what do we do here? You know, we're going to make fun of the current president if they keep going that route. But the thing is, they keep making fun of our presidents because they're so easy to make fun of. Our last couple have been awful. It's like people weren't really making fun of Obama because Obama is a likable guy. He's not this guy that gets angry. He's not this guy that gets in fights. He's not this guy that says ridiculous stuff on Truth Social. He's not this guy that's a felon. He's not this guy that's a senile old man. He's not like that. He is a good speaker. Right? He's very charismatic, and he's one of the best presidents we've had in a long time. But, you know, the last couple, it's been this weird, really, really weird situation. But yeah, no, I felt like the South Park episode is really good, and I'll probably report back on the next episode. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if they're even here on the next episode. But I know that today is a bit odd, but I just want to talk about it because I want people to watch this new episode of South Park. And my favorite part about all this is that Trump said that South Park is hanging on for a threat of relevancy. South Park is more popular than it's ever been. That's why Paramount just paid them $1.5 billion. And that's not on top of the 1.5 that they already make a year from the streaming rights, because they signed a deal back in 2008 that basically said we get, I think it's like 50% of all streaming royalties. So, you know, they're just going to win. You know, and I'm glad for them because South Park is genuinely one of the best TV shows ever made, and it has been able to stay on top for almost 3 decades. But so thank you guys for making it to the end. If you did, I would really appreciate if you could drop a like, drop a comment, tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, and feel free to stick around by subscribing or joining the channel where you can get exclusive content every single week. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.